Hey all, it's Scott Dodger Morrow at the Starshine Distillery. So I didn't think of it at the time, but I guess this should have been probably a maker video where I recorded and explained how I made the thing I'm going to show you. But it's pretty ghetto, so likely nobody else is going to want to build one anyway. So the question is, what is it? And one might ask, get on with it already. All right, let's get on with it. So what I've done is I've made myself a little combination drone pre-flight checklist holder. That's, as you can see here, it's a little pre-flight checklist. Nothing so spectacular about that. But at the same time, besides being a pre-flight checklist, on the other side, it's a solar panel. And this used to be a solar panel for cars, where it had suction cups in the corners here, and you would suction cup it to the windshield of your car, and then plug this wire into the cigarette lighter, and that would trickle charge your car in the daytime while the sun was shining, keep your battery nice and fully charged. I've literally had this thing in my garage for I don't even know how many years, probably 6 or 7 years anyway. I've never used it, and I was bumming around in the garage looking for a clipboard to try to find for my drone checklist, and I didn't find a clipboard, but I did come across this solar panel. I thought, well, maybe I can turn that into a clipboard, and at the same time perhaps I can turn it into some kind of a charger for my drone and the controller, the radio controller batteries. So if you find yourself a long way from power, or your drone controller batteries are running low and you just have to get that amazing sunset over the waterfall shot, this might be just what you need, and it wasn't expensive at all. I just sort of threw it together. So let me tell you a little bit about my Ghetto checklist slash charger. So this, as I mentioned earlier, this little puppy started life as a Canadian Tire automotive solar trickle charger. It used to have little suction cups that were mounted in the corners here, and you'll see that they're just keyed holes, so they popped right out. You just had to haul them out. That in itself was the easy part. The one thing that you have to remember about these solar panels is they're quite a bit higher voltage than what you want for your drone. In full sunlight, this particular solar panel puts out about 18.5 volts, which will fry your batteries and fry your drone. So you definitely don't want to plug directly into an 18 volt power supply, especially full sunlight. Now I have tested this. In fact, I put it underneath that lamp over there, my desk lamp. It's a fairly bright LED lamp, and with the full light of the LED shining on it, it put out 18.5 volts, which is far too high again to use for your drone or for your batteries or for chargers. So what I did in order to be able to drop that voltage down from 18 volts is I put a little voltage regulator in there. You can buy these voltage regulators at Amazon. They're only a couple of bucks. I think the one that I got cost me $12 maybe, if that. The little voltage regulator is just a little tiny printed circuit board, and it has 2 inputs and 2 outputs. The inputs will take anything from 6 volts to 30 volts, but the output, which is the key, is going to be a constant 5 volts. You'll always get 5 volts out regardless of what voltage you put into it. So if we put in 18.5 volts from this thing, that's going to give us a 5 volt output, and I've measured it to about 2 amps of current, which is quite a bit of current. So 18 volts in, 5 volts out at about somewhere between 1 and 2 amps. That's more than enough to charge your batteries and all your equipment. In fact, you can charge your phone from it as well if you have the right kind of connector. Now, one problem that I ran into is these 2 wires, they used to belong to a cigarette lighter that plugs into the car. I cut the cigarette lighter off, and I've also ordered 2 little male USB pigtails, they're called. They're just a little USB connector with 2 wires coming out of them, and then you can connect those wires to whatever you need to. I'll be connecting those 2 wires to those little red and black wire, positive and negative wire, and that way I'll be able to plug in my USB-C either my drone or my battery charger. I have a 3 battery charger, or the controller itself. I'll be able to plug any of those 3 in, and as long as we've got a reasonable amount of sunshine, and in fact it doesn't even have to be sunny, even a semi-cloudy day, semi-overcast, throws enough light that it will definitely get this thing up over 5 volts and it will give your system a charge. Now, you may ask yourself, well, what did he do with that voltage regulator? As I mentioned, it's very, very small. So what I did was I separated the halves of the solar charger. They separated in the middle here. I separated the halves of them, and I put the voltage regulator right in here. There's a little empty spot here. I disconnected the solar panels from the original wire, reconnected those to the input of the voltage regulator, little 5-volt voltage regulator, and then the output of the voltage regulator now goes to these 2 wires, which were originally connected to the solar panel. So once I put that USB-C connector on there, and I get a little bit of light shining on this, I should have no problem at all charging up my equipment. The other problem that I ran into in using this solar panel is the back of the solar panel was not designed to be a flat surface. It was not designed to be written on. It's got all kinds of little bumps and lumps and grooves cut out of it and things like that to take care of the internals of the solar panel itself. So what I did to resolve that, so I'd be able to write on my checklist, is I cut out a small piece of cardboard. In fact, it's from an Amazon box, a piece of corrugated cardboard. I cut it out with an X-Acto knife. I cut it out to shape, to fit the solar panel, to fit the board of the solar panel closely. And then I just stuck it on there with alien tape. I've got 3 pieces of alien tape underneath here. And I don't know if you've worked with alien tape before, but once you put that stuff on, it will never come off. Don't ever put alien tape on drywall if you expect to get it off, because it will not come off. Trust me on this. So I've stuck down the cardboard with alien tape, put a little elastic band around the bottom just to keep the pages from flopping around, and I can clip a pen up here so that when I go out and do my checks, I can check off my checks from my checklist to make sure that I don't forget anything, because there's a lot to remember in flying a drone if you want to fly it properly. Check off all the check marks in my checklist, and then off I go to fly. And after I've flown for half an hour or 40 minutes or whatever my battery gives me, I can swap out with a full battery, and then I can take that battery that I've just used, put it back in my charger, face the sun, plug the USB-C port in, and I should have a charged battery before too long. And I should be able to continue going like that all day long, as long as I keep everything charged. It does take a little bit longer to charge the radio controller. It takes a little longer than it does for the drone batteries, but even that's not a problem, because we all need a break. If you've been flying for 2 or 3 hours, well, you need an hour or 2 off anyway, and that should give you plenty of time to charge whatever needs to be charged. So if you've got any questions or comments, by all means, leave them in the bottom. What I will do is, in my first comment, the comment that I leave, I will put the links to the 2 items that I bought from Amazon for this. One is the voltage regulator, and the other one is the 2 little USB-C pigtail connectors. The rest of it was all just junk that I picked up from scrap around the house here, and I printed off the checklist. I made the checklist up myself out of a bunch of other checklists that were online, and then printed it off to make it fit my DJI Mini 4 Pro. There were a couple of instructions on there that didn't really apply to my drone, so I changed them. So that's about all I have to say about my Ghetto Charger / pre-flight checklist. If you've got any questions or comments, again, leave them below. I would really, really love it if you would subscribe and or like this video. This is the very first time that I've tried this. I've never made a video like this before. So I'm hoping to be able to continue on and get better at it. Obviously, I can't get much worse. I will try to get better at it, and my hope is that I'll have a few people here that like to watch these videos and maybe learn a thing or two. So thanks very much for watching. Dodger out.